Seems someone wants me hospitalized.
Welcome to part 5.1 of our It Is What It Is, Run Through the Evil Within. If you remember from last time, we fell down some huge, I don't know what to call it. We were in like a tower. We were on some staircase, and Ruvik was coming up the staircase, and suddenly the whole thing collapsed and fell, and we fell for a long, long way, and we then wound up sliding sideways into that area where we just woke up, and the store was in front of us.
Necessary for
you see that we've come through the door. We're back in the hospital again. He's beginning to get used to the concept of that's what's going to happen when the mirror breaks.
Your last visit.
Again, most of our trips in this run to the hospital will be to pick up newspapers and missing persons posters. Occasionally we will also open the lockers in the back room, and once in a while we'll check in on the map just to see how it's progressing. The Is What It Is challenge entails not using any of the green goo to ever upgrade yourself or your weapons, no attributes of any type. So while we pick up the green goo and we go back to the hospital frequently to pick up the documents and the posters, the main purpose of going back to the hospital in most people's play, in most of my plays, has been to use that chair to upgrade something. Since we can't do that here, we use it just to show you where and when you can pick up the documents and the posters. So it is what it is. Now, it feels like we're still in the basement of a hospital, like we've gone downstairs in a hospital. We just saw that we encountered another one of those invisible foes. The first time we encountered those, we were with Dr.
Looks like I have to get down.
Jimenez and Leslie in part of a village where Jimenez's brother was a doctor, and he had already turned, and we had to kill him. And then down in that basement is where we first encountered one of those invisible monsters. So this area is where we find those invisible monsters. You can watch for them, like if you saw some of the stuff move there, that means that something's bumping it, something's moving it. So my favorite way to deal with him is the flashbang. Basically, it's a flash bolt off of the crossbow. Throw that down. When it explodes, they cover their eyes, and you can silent kill them that way. Stealth kill them. They call it a stealth kill. Now, normally when you run around that, you would just run right by this guy, and you'd run into this door. I don't know, that's the first time out of like 10 or 12 times that I've gone through that where I bumped into him and he grabbed me. Since we're playing on casual, because of the difficulty of the challenge, it really wasn't a big deal. Of course, on Akamu difficulty, if you were bumped into, you die. Every hit's a death in Akamu. So we're taking advantage of the ability to get this achievement on running it on casual difficulty. So since we can't upgrade our health, since we can't upgrade the damage that we do, nor the damage that we take, nor the health that we get from these needles, casual's the right setting. It's enough of a challenge on casual. I know up until this point, you haven't seen us die. It starts to happen. It doesn't happen. I don't think it's this episode. It might be the next one. I always love that. I always come out, and that timing just works out. As long as you're pretty quick back there, the timing works out where the invisible guy comes through the door, you step through it, he's trapped on the other side, and now you hear him bang on the door to get back to the side that you're on. It's such a nice timing to not even have to worry about him. Thanks for opening the door, dude. At this point in the game, Sebastian's still mostly lost. He doesn't really know what's going on. He's beginning to get used to using mirrors to go back and forth between a mental hospital and here. And he's trying to decide which is real and which isn't, or if any of it's real at all, and whether or not he's already lost his mind. Through most of the game, he remains mostly clueless. But he's aware that things just aren't making any sense. I mean, you just walked into this room. And now it's a doorless room. So now what? You can look through. 3 walls have wind up having holes on them that you can look through. And when you do look through the holes, these doors will appear. The secret's not hard to find. You might have to look at this first to see what symbols are there, and then look for the symbols on the wall. In this case, I already know what symbols they're going to be, so I point to the symbol on the wall, and then I go to the machine and do the thing. If you pick wrong, even if you're just picking at random, you have a 50-50 chance. But if you pick wrong, the spikes, instead of coming out of the table, come out of the floor, and you die. Only the second audio tape that we found.
Initial symptoms: sharp pain in brainstem centered on insertion point, followed by gradual onset of hemorrhaging as capillary.
So that's me pointing to the symbol that's going to be on the thing. So pick the one to the right.
Ego generates strong suicidal tendencies. They lose who they are and become clay, completely reshapable in my image. But not me. Something keeps me from staying completely within.
The voices on the tape recording is supposed to be Ruvik, the hooded figure. So that should be our third room. Third room with the spikes in it. And now they're all going to congregate it. Well, the blood's going to coagulate over here on the wall. You have to get close enough to it to click on the A. If you stand in the middle of the room, it just never forms. But if you walk over to it, then that happens. And he backs up a little bit and the door appears.
Joseph. Thank God you're okay.
I don't know what I am, but it's definitely not okay. You brought me here?
Why do you think I brought you here? I mean, like how did I get here? Where is here?
Jesus, what happened? My head feels like... Do you hear that?
We need to get out of here. Can you move?
Yeah,
Joseph!
You get a new mechanic here where you can heal your partner.
That's much better.
More often than not, I wish he could heal me than I need to heal him. But
Let's get out of here fast.
I love this room now that I get it. I just come in here, trigger her. I don't know if you could see her, but there's an old woman that's a zombie in the middle of the room. She yells, and all the patients get up off the beds. They're all zombies. And she's a little fast this time, so I need to slow her down a little bit. I just basically need to make sure that they were all within range, that oil would burn long enough. And they bring the goo to you. The only thing you do have to be careful about there is if she gets there too quick, if you light it too soon, then you're standing basically in a dead end with 4 or 5 of them bum rushing you. So you need to time it well. When it works out really well. A jump scare that, I've been assuming every time I open a lock that something's going to fall out of it. So the fact that it's dead was reassuring. One thing I kind of complain about with the game mechanics is it's not enough to get the camera to look at the place that you want him to click. He has to look at it. So you have to get his toes pointed in the right direction to get the icon to come up so that the contextual menu actually pops up and clicking A takes an action. I hate that pixel hunting for the right angle, of a character. Of course, this is a 2014 game, so, I give them props for they're not out of step with what was around them at the time. More modern games have gotten that contextual menu a little bit better. They can tell that the player, like even there, I'm pointing at this. I'm wanting to hit the glass to break the glass so I can get to that bolt, even though I can't pick it up. I wanted to show you it was there. And instead he turns around and punches at him. So they get some of the contextual, like the more important thing would be to attack a foe if you were close and you're pressing the button that would attack. It's more likely that you want to attack the foe if there's a foe nearby. But they don't do that same thing for the A button. You have to get the A, you have to get him looking at exactly what you want him to look at. Get him turned to it and then press the A, or it just won't do anything.
Why would they put a bomb like this?
Do you think we can get past it?
Stand back.
Overall, the game controls were good. They're in sync with what was out at the time. I mean, this came out just before. It was 2014, so it came out between Resident Evil Revelations and Resident Evil Revelations 2, and Resident Evil 6. I can't remember the exact order of Revelations 2 and 6, but the controls feel an awful lot like Resident Evil 6 to me. They're a little clunky, a little jerky. You'll see often I'll run up to something and then immediately turn around. That's me releasing my left joystick, like I'm pressing forward to run up to it. I let go of the joystick, and as it swings back just far enough to clear the, I don't know what you want to call it, the dead zone in the center, but it clears that, and it looks like I pressed it back. So he runs up there, skids, and turns around. And all I'm doing is just trying to run up there and let go of the joystick. So it's got this weird sensitivity to it in that way, and it's got this weird sensitivity to turning.
Joseph,
it just feels a little jerky, like you turn just a little too far. It's not as smooth as more modern games, or oddly than some older games. There was a period of time when this was kind of the standard for responsive controls, I guess. And
there's something wrong with this place.
Yeah.
So that cutscene clearly says that whenever you hear that music or that sound, that kind of high-pitched radio sound, and they put their hands to their head, that it has this ability to turn Joseph, at least to some degree, into one of the zombies. Sebastian seems to be affected by it to some degree, but not as greatly. Making pretty good progress on the map. Not quite a third of the way through, but almost a third. And this is one of the problems with playing It Is What It Is difficulty. You can't upgrade your pouches, so you can't carry any more ammunition with you. And so you wind up leaving huge amounts of ammunition behind. I struggle with the concept of whether or not, like when I go to play Akamu and I can upgrade myself, should I build my pouches up to carry more ammunition, or should I focus more on just the damage that the weapon can do? Or another problem that comes in, starts to show up harshly in It Is What It Is the accuracy of the handgun. When you need to shoot things a ways away from you, and you have the spot on it, and it still misses. Now this is an interesting battle. This is the first place that I started to struggle getting through it.
Kidman!
Get me out of this thing!
In this case, it's mostly the amount of ammo. that gave me some problems here.
It's much more elaborate.
Joseph, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Think you'd better get down here.
Hold on, I'm coming.
That just happens to be a faster way than the other way. Gets you kind of into the fray a little bit quicker. They're focused on Joseph, so you can take your time, make sure that you get a good shot at them.
Here they come!
It turns out to not be such a bad idea to have them chasing you and you running around and Joseph shooting him. He seems to be able to shoot pretty well. But you have to be careful of some of them will throw their axes. This guy was throwing an axe, and that can hurt even from a distance. Of course, picking up the axes yourself is always useful against those. I call them the old women zombies. They're oddly really resilient and oddly quick and agile. They duck a lot, and they'll duck under my shots often. There is some ammunition in here, but it's often good to let Joseph do a lot of the shooting so that you can make sure you have enough ammo at the end. But you do need to watch him. I need to go over there and heal him. I should be healing him, but I'm not.
They've got dynamite!
When he says that, that's an easy way to die. Any one of these guys with dynamite runs at you, and if he gets close enough to you, the dynamite will kill you. They don't try to. Sometimes, if they're a ways away from you, or if they're on a different, like if they're on the second floor up here, they'll start throwing the dynamite down at you, and you'll see that in a minute. But to me, the more dangerous is when I can't get turned around. They're too close to me, and I have to just keep running. If they ever catch you, if they ever grab you, they won't throw the dynamite at you. They'll just grab you and hold you, and you'll both die from the dynamite.
Sebastian, they're above us!
There's one guy that stops right there. This guy, and he lights it up. He lights up his dynamite, and you need to get rid of him. All you have to do is kind of delay him just long enough for him to actually have the dynamite go off. I think that guy that I was shooting at there, I think he just has a knife, so he's not as much of a worry. He's not likely to make it past Joseph.
Watch out! They've got dynamite!
Of course, an axe does no good for somebody who has dynamite. I notice I'm running the wrong way. He's shooting back here, so I don't want to be in the direction of the person with the dynamite.
Is that it? I think there's still something nearby. More of them on the move.
Don't be a hero, back off.
These big heavy guys with the big sledgehammers, they can be a real problem. Of course, if you can get them to lay down on the ground, they don't get up real very quick. So. Often with them, you'll see me shooting kind of at the belly or at the legs, trying to get them to. They're wearing a mask. These particular ones are wearing a mask too. They don't always, but these are wearing a mask. So you need something heavy if you're going to break that mask. And I see I go and I'll run kind of straight at Joseph, and then he can attack him on the way to him.
Watch out! We got dynamite!
You see, now I'm in a lot of danger right there. I'm in a lot of danger there. But now he's been holding that stick of dynamite for a while, but I ain't stuck on something. I don't quite far enough away, and then I run out of stamina. No. Thankfully, he exploded just before he grabbed a
Kidman
hold of
needs
me.
help. Damn it.
Now, your natural indication,
That was close.
inclination is to go over and see, okay, what can I do? What can we do to get Kidman out? Kidman's not currently in any danger. I mean, the game is saying she is, and it's like the water's getting higher, but it's not. So you can take the time to loot the entire area now, which I do. Including healing myself, breaking boxes, going into each one of the rooms. You can see we're beginning to amass quite a bit of green gel. The sad thing is we won't even use it on a subsequent run, because the only run that we have left to do and that we're currently in the midst of trying to get through is the Akamu, the nightmare, where everything that touches you kills you on one touch. I mean, even like bear traps, they don't just grab you, they kill you one shot. The maps are all the same, but the placement of the foes is quite different. But that's a story for another time. Here we're mostly concerned with it is what it is, and going through it with only the same abilities that you start the initial game with, and ending with those same abilities. It wasn't until this chapter that things started to get a little dicey for us. Before that, you haven't had too much of a chance to have much green goo to upgrade your weapons and yourself anyway, so it's kind of like just playing the game over again. But this time you know where things are, what's going to happen, and how to get out of the things, so it's not as big of a deal. It does get, I mean, if you've played the game before, you know the game gets harder and harder and harder. It's not like it gets easier or there's quicker things to do.
I can't get the thing open.
And the same is true for Akamu. At some point in the game, pretty much everything's a one-shot kill for you anyway, so
Where do these cables go?
it's kind of the early parts of the game and the added monsters, the added things that they add in that difficulty setting. The first time we played through on this, I followed the line fine to over here. That's dangerous, using an axe with a guy with light that's already lit a dynamite stick. Because the dynamite stick's still going to go off even if you knock him down. So you need to knock him back and get away with that. This guy also tries to light dynamite. By using the handgun, I never let him actually get it lit. You can kill these things. I mean, you probably have time, especially if you're playing on a New Game Plus and you have upgraded weapons, and you probably have time. But the first time we played, I didn't notice that I could crawl into that. I don't think I had my light on or something, so I didn't really notice that there was a hole in the wall there. And I looked around for this thing. Kidman died 3 or 4 times before I figured out, oh, there's a hole in the wall. I kept going to all the other little places that had little lights on machines. And I felt kind of silly when it was done, but with your light on and me looking straight at it, it's easy to see, but I swear I missed it for a good 3 or 4 tries before like finally done. Hey, there's a hole in the wall right there. So we weren't reunited with our partners for very long there. This chapter gets to be a little bit long, so I cut it into 2 videos. We're going to close out this video by looting the rest of the area, which isn't a whole lot, but there's another locker key that you can get in this cell coming up right here, and a few other things. And we're going to run around and do the rest of the looting. That makes key number 10. See, I kept running to these things, trying to turn the power off there, and I'm like, it won't let me do anything. It is what it is. It doesn't take much to fill you back up, but at the same time, you don't have much when you are full. So. But in the next video, we'll finish out this chapter, chapter 5. We reunite with both Joseph and Kidman, kind of coming up in the near area, and then things get really nasty, and we have to fight with Laura. And it gets quite challenging. But we'll see you in that one. I hope you enjoyed this. There was a little bit more action. It wasn't as much of a stealth episode.